It's episode 239 of The Platformers, and I'm your host, Brian Barnett. What is up?
I'm Joshua Mobley.
I'm Chris Shriver. My thumb is sensitive right now, and I don't know why.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's not good.
No. It's like it's right here. You know what?
Right
I know what it's from.
What'd you do?
What is it?
I was eating crab legs last night, and there was one of them that was particularly pointy, and I kept saying it over and over again, and I think that's what it's from.
You kept saying particularly pointy?
I did. I was like, this is a particularly pointy crab, and I looked at Jess, and I kept saying it. She wasn't acknowledging it.
It's particularly pointy, Jess.
Yeah.
Well, this is a particularly pointy video game podcast.
Yeah.
There's some stuff we can talk about this week. Well, I don't know.
We don't have very controversial opinions.
No? I feel like I'm always...
No, you just have bad takes. That's different.
What
That's
is
not
the
what
difference?
I was going to say.
What is the
What's
difference?
the difference? I don't know.
Between a hot take and a bad one.
A bad one would be like saying Banjo-Kazooie.
Banjo-Kazooie is not good.
Star Fox 64 is a bad game.
I feel like a bad take is something where you just kind of say it and you're really committed, but you don't have a lot of evidence. A hot take is something where you go against the grain of what everyone else says, but you actually have some good points.
Right.
Okay. Okay. You know what? I'll buy that. And I will say, Chris, in my defense, I don't think I've ever said Star Fox 64 is a bad game.
You didn't, but Logan Plant did, and I'm not going to let him live it down.
I love Star Fox 64.
I refuse to be punished for Logan Plant's crimes.
I still think about when the level name pops up and it goes like burr, burr, or whatever the hell it says.
Yeah.
Baby. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Thanks, Fox. I thought they had me. Love that
now, as I do every time we bring up the Nintendo 64, I am legally obligated to say,
I didn't have one growing up.
Much like a sex offender in your neighborhood, anytime a Nintendo 64 is mentioned, I am legally obligated to say I did not have one.
Yes,
but
I didn't have one either.
But I did play Star Fox 64 at a friend's house. I think I only played like the first level, but it was good.
It's the most important.
I'll put it this way: I had more fun with that than I did Star Fox, the original on Super Nintendo, which I owned.
Yeah, that game's not great.
That game's not great. Yeah.
I will defend though Star Fox Adventures on the GameCube. That game is good,
dude. Yes, it is. I've actually been thinking about playing it again on the deck.
Yeah,
we were talking about it on the boardroom, and I realized I don't think I've played that game
Which
since.
boardroom? Is it the mushroom boardroom? The Fireflower boardroom?
The toadstool boardroom. Yeah, we were talking about that, and I realized I don't think I've played it since I originally played it on the GameCube when I was like 10.
Yeah. I played it once when I was maybe 12, 13, something like that. And I really liked it, never went back. I also, there's another Star Fox game on the GameCube that is a traditional Star Fox game. And I like that game too. Star Fox Assault. I like that game too.
I've tried to play
I've never played either of those. I think I've only played Star Fox and Star Fox 64.
I think Star Fox, if I remember correctly, Star Fox Assault is like a Bandai Namco game. It was one of the first ones that they got them to make. I could be totally wrong about that, but it has like way too much dialogue between missions.
It does have a lot of dialogue.
Yeah. Developed by Namco and published by Nintendo for the GameCube.
There you go. Oh, you know
before
they merged. That's
right. Before they were Bandai Namco, just Namco.
Yeah.
It looks cool though.
I remember
it's basically a Star Fox game.
Yeah, so. I remember seeing it when I was growing up and thinking it looked awesome, and I hadn't played it until I was older. Every time I play it, I'm like too impatient to sit through all the chatter.
Mm-hmm.
But
I sat through it. I was into it.
I should give it a fair shake.
Metacritic of 67 looks like at most big outlets it got somewhere in the 7 range.
Too Tall for You Fool says Star Fox Command on DS is underrated. I
also played that game.
I was at a sleepover growing up and I watched somebody play that game, and I remember thinking this looks very bad, but I don't think I ever actually tried it.
I liked it, but I don't remember much about it.
Yeah.
But I liked it at the time.
But this whole thing, this is Logan's whole argument, is that, like people will jump on a grenade for Star Fox 64, and maybe Star Fox Adventures, but the majority of the franchise like really isn't that good.
I mean,
I feel like we just named the majority of the franchise and
we
said
did?
like, yeah, it's pretty good. I think so.
And also, I don't really think that you can. I don't know if he did, but I don't think you can count Star Fox 2. I don't really consider that to be a real game.
You could now. Like they did.
Yeah,
technically
it got released. It was formally released. Yeah. So
that's true, but it's still barely a game.
I mean,
I would count it.
Yeah, I would count it.
It got a retail release.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's fair.
I wonder. I bet someone has. If someone has made, on Etsy, like how we were looking at these Star Wars movies, that were printed on Blu-rays. Has anyone made Super NES carts, Super Nintendo carts for Star Fox?
Surely, because people have made SNES carts for like the that like Mario World mod that people have made, and then there's also the
people even did
Earthbound
Super Nintendo,
Uncut or whatever,
and they did it for Shovel Knight too.
Mother 3, yeah.
I'm pretty sure somebody did that for Shovel Knight as well.
I believe there's probably like Facebook groups and stuff. Somebody's making them. You can get a hold of somebody, PayPal them.
Oh, they do have them?
Yep, $56.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's just the process of making them is expensive,
sure
or if they just know that like the people who really want it are going to pay that, right?
Yeah, I don't know. But I do think that that's really interesting, and there is something about like having that cart and being able to like even if you don't even play it, like just popping it up on a shelf or something just so people can see it. Like that's just such a cool relic of a time that is long since passed. And I like that.
I like the idea of having like those user modded versions on cart also.
Yeah. There's
like that seems appealing.
That Final Fantasy VII on NES mod that someone made. Like you can get that like a cartridge of that. Like there's all kinds of different ones out there.
What I'd love to see, and it wouldn't be good, but what I would love to see would be Final Fantasy VII on N64, because that's where it would have gone if the PlayStation
it would not have run.
Yeah, it wouldn't have run.
No.
It might have run on the Dolphin, but that's probably it. It wouldn't have run on regular hardware.
Yeah. But that sort of stuff is just like very interesting. Like there aren't a ton that we know of, but there are like a substantial amount of games that had things gone just a little bit differently. They would have been somewhere else. So like, the original Halo on PS2 or something like that. Or, all these different things. Or what was it?
The original Halo was going to be on
Was it Halo on DS?
It was going to be on Mac, yeah.
And then Halo DS.
Yeah, because Marathon was on that. And then Halo DS, which I think I recall that game was like done. They just never released it.
There was like a prototype build of it that you can find it online. Like somebody has dumped it at this point, but there's a video of like, it's like an infamous like IGN, like one of like old IGN video of Bozan and Matt Casamassina. And they're showing it off.
Yeah, that's right.
Because they like got a copy of it.
Yeah. There's like a bunch of weird stuff like that where it's either like games that weren't released that were done for platforms that are kind of weird, or stuff that in like a universe like one door to our left, like, this came out on this console or this sort of thing. Or like, this wouldn't be any different technically, but like it would be interesting to see like Insomniac's Marvel Spider-Man on Xbox.
Yeah.
Or whatever. You know what I mean? Like just like weird little art, like what's it called? The prominent African activist that was in prison for a long time that everybody thought died.
Oh, the Mandela effect.
Mandela effect.
Yeah, Mandela.
Like just a bunch of like Mandela effect objects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's like, Shovel Knight on SNES, like Marvel Spider-Man.
But the Mandela effect dictates that it has to have been part of someone's memory. So
yeah,
it would have to have been a case where someone had a memory of like playing Halo DS. And then,
do you remember
that never came out, so that's impossible.
The Shazam tie-in game for Super Nintendo,
yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Or Kazam. Yeah.
The actual movie was Kazam, but I think everybody was thinking it was Shazam with Sinbad.
And, yeah. Shazam was Sinbad, and it was like,
but it was
no,
Kazam.
I have a memory of this. It's like, no, they just can't,
Yeah, but it was Kazam with Shaq, I think, right?
Yes.
Yes.
There was actually one that I found the other day. It was I was like, oh my God, like it finally it broke my brain a little bit. The two different spellings of the Bernstein Bears.
The Berenstain Bears, yeah.
But somebody had two different VHS tapes and they were spelled two different ways, and I was like, oh my God, like they found it.
There is one that is correct, but the funny thing about it is that because people mix it up, like they spell it both ways and they think it's correct, and like people just see it and don't think about it.
Right.
So then it adds fuel to the fire.
It is
Berenstain.
Yeah.
Because we have a book in Riley's room, and it's one of them. And when I looked at it, I was like, what? Because I remember those bears being Jewish, I'll tell you.
Oh, boy.
On that, Brian Barnett.
Yes.
What have you been doing this week?
What have I been doing this week? Well, I've been doing a couple of cool things that you'll be able to see. One up on GameSpot right now. I made a DNF duel tier list where I went through and I made a nice little image on Tier Maker, which is what all the content creators and stuff use, or if you're gonna post on Twitter a fighting game tier list or something. But then I actually went through and wrote like a couple of paragraphs, like between 2 and 5 paragraphs on each of the characters in DNF duel, why they're strong, where they rank in power, relative power, compared to the rest of the cast. And I just published it today. And friends of the show, Will Berger and Mitchell Saltzman, had good things to say to me about it. So I'm feeling good about that. So that's something that I made and went up that you can go check out. But also I've been playing a little old game called Stray.
Oh,
the cat game.
Which is a game about kitty cats.
That embargo lifted today?
Yeah, the reviews can go up today. So the guide embargo actually lifts tomorrow. So I was thinking that I wouldn't be able to talk about it, and then I saw the reviews go up, and I was like, oh, I can talk about it. So because I've been doing guides, so I'm actually writing. I'm the lead guide writer for GameSpot for this game, which is the first cool big project that I've been able to lead for that. Before then, it's just been like piecemeal stuff. But I'm a little bit over halfway through the game right now, just because one of the around the 40% mark, there's like a hub where you can do a lot of the collectible stuff in the game. And so that's where I've been like spending a lot of my time and all that sort of stuff. And it's really, really fun. So if you haven't seen Stray, this is a game that is going to come out, and you're going to have access to it if you have, I think, the second level of PlayStation Plus, which I canceled my PlayStation Plus, I'm not using it anymore. But if you're into that, if PlayStation is your main ecosystem and you've gotten one of the upper levels of that, then you'll be able to have access to this when it comes out, which I think is like this week.
I believe so. I believe it's tomorrow.
Okay. So the guide's embargo list when the game comes out. That's cool. So I've been playing that. If you have not seen it, it is a game that's been hyped for like a couple of years. I think it was revealed a couple of years ago. And then just lately they've been kind of like, hey, like this is going to be associated with PlayStation and all that sort of stuff. Il Girl Chill in the chat says 4 to 6 hours. Yeah, which is about how long it is. Yeah. It's good. Really, really good for just being able to jump in and jump out. Like I had like 3 different projects I was working on, so I actually had to start it late, and I started it today, and I'm still like halfway through, and I've done all the collectible stuff up through halfway through the game.
Oh wow.
So it's even if you're going through trying to do everything, like I think it's only like 7 hours or something. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Perfect.
It is, if you've seen any of the trailers or something, it's interesting because you play a cat, and not a cat with powers or anything like that. You just play a regular old cat, and you're wandering through this like post-apocalyptic world, where there's like these little head crab looking enemies that are hopping around after you. And so you got to stay away from them. And then you can also interact with these machines and you can find things. Oh, Mum Jump in the chat. The pressing platformers question, when does it get fun? I think it starts atmospheric, which is nice. And it's like very simple and fun early on, and the kind of the joy of the game is just moving around in the space. So it's very like early Assassin's Creed, where like you're jumping up and you're jumping down onto different platforms, and the joy is kind of like watching this cat like move from place to place and stuff like that. Very soon, like you get the ability to like walk into things and knock things off ledges, and you can engage in very cat behavior. Like you can scratch up doors when you're trying to get people to open them. You can scratch the side of couches or like mess with drapes or curtains or things like that. You can jump on top of piles of books and then jump off and the books just go flying everywhere. Like it's very simple and straightforward. It's not complicated to the point where I'm at. There's no combat. I think I recalled seeing in one of the trailers that like there is like some form of combat or something later on.
There's like a light form that apparently towards the tail end of the game, at least according to Tom Marks, gets a little repetitive.
Yeah. So I haven't fought anything yet. I've just been traversing around, running away from enemies. Like you try to dodge the enemies. If they get onto you and latch onto you, you press the B button and that kind of shakes them off. But you can't let them get on you too much, or you gotta start over. There's a chapter select, which is really nice. So you can very easily go back and clean up collectibles if you want to go for the platinum or get 100% of the achievements or whatever. It's really satisfying. You meet this like little robot called B12 that kind of tells you what's going on and translates like other stuff for you around the world, and you can go around and collect like different things that are important to different people, or you can find music or energy cans, and you can do all sorts of weird little stuff like put little paper bags on your head that will like reverse your input directions and stuff because like you can't see where you're going. It's just I would say it's very thoughtfully made. It seems to me to be a very fun game from a small developer that didn't entirely have time to polish out all the little kinks and stuff. So like when I hop up on a pile of books and then I hop off, it knocks the pile over, but sometimes it doesn't really knock it over and it just kind of shakes in the same place until I go walk into it, and then it like falls over, and still they kind of like do the Fallout thing where they're like quaking across the floor and stuff like that. It's like, you know what I mean? It's that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's still real cute. Like I like wandering around the world. Like all the animations are really good. I think that it's the aesthetic design like looks really good. Basically, in my opinion, this is like What If Biomutant but good, and also remove all the combat from the game.
Well, Biomutant has a lot of like RPG elements and stuff.
Yeah, and it's also open world, and this is not. But it's the same thing where it's like you're an animal that's wandering around this like destroyed world, and there's a bunch of robots and technology left over from human civilization. It's very much like the themes and aesthetic and like locale is like very much that way, but this is a way more focused, and because it's a way more focused game, and because it's more focused, it ends up being better. It definitely, being simple and making sure that simplicity is satisfying is where this game shines. Apparently some people are giving this like 9s or 10s. I wouldn't go that far, just because I don't find bugs and like glitches and shit like that charming. I know that there are some people who literally go with Bethesda games because of that sort of stuff. Like they love the fact that like a vertibird can just come falling out of the sky and crash onto your quest giver and kill him. And like that's just something that can happen just because it just randomly glitches out, and then he like skitters and like goes across the floor and then flips up into the sky. And while I think that's funny, I don't find that sort of stuff like endearing.
Is there a lot of that in this?
No, there's not much. There's just a little. Okay. There's just a little bit. This is a a solid right now. Like, and this is premature to do this, but if I was previewing this game and had played up through the point where I had played, I'd probably give it an 8. It's really good. It's really fun and it's bite-sized. So I'm, you know, I don't need to beat it for the guides that I'm writing, but I'm definitely going to because this game's real fun.
Yeah.
So I recommend it. I think it's really fun.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, that was one of those games. It got announced when when they did that big, like the first big PS5 event.
I think this was the only one where I was like,
yeah,
that looks
this
interesting.
year.
Yeah. I think it was like June 2020.
Yeah. This was first announced really early in the PS5 thing, but it was a teaser.
Yeah.
And we didn't really know what it was.
Yeah.
And they didn't really show like a gameplay trailer until fairly recently, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it was like, hey, and it's coming out. But yeah, it's good. It's good. I like it.
I could see it either like really hitting for me, or just being like, what's the point? But
yeah,
I don't know. I think a lot of games are that way.
The great thing with that about this is even if it's like a what's the point game, it's so quick.
Yeah, that's true. Like it's not like you're investing like, your entire.
This game does not ask much of you, and I will tell you, I've played this game for like a few hours today, but like I was literally looking for everything, and you do not have to do that.
Yeah,
like there's a couple of collectibles that you have to get because, like in a safe with this collectible is another piece of key information that a character needs to be able to unlock the next like part of the story or something like that. Right. But those sorts of things are rare. And like, if you don't want to search around and try to find all the energy drinks or whatever, like you don't have to.
Yeah.
So sorry, Josh, I didn't mean to cut you off. What were you saying?
Oh, I was going to say I never really had a lot of interest in this game, and I don't really know why. I just saw it and I was like, all right, and then kind of moved on. I don't know, but maybe I'll try it since people seem to like it. But
I will say I definitely think it there was a part when I walked up to a couch and there was a Y prompt that was up over the side, like next to one of the armrests, and I hit Y and it like prompted left trigger, right trigger. And I started mashing on those, and the cat started like tearing the shit out of the couch, and I was like, I get it. And I was actually talking to Audrey about that like the other night, like knocking stuff off, like knocking paint cans off the edge of a building and watch them like splatter on the ground or something like that. And I think I understand now why cats are the way that they are, because it's a case of absolute power corrupts absolutely. Nobody expects cats to clean up their shit because they refuse to do it. And so they can just go around and do whatever the fuck they want with no consequences. Yeah. If the world was your oyster and there were no consequences for you just walking up to a complete stranger and scratching them, or going up to someone you love and destroying everything that they hold dear, and then you could just walk away and fall asleep on their carpet, like, wouldn't you become a monster? Like, wouldn't you just be the biggest asshole in the world? Anyway, that's
sounds like a question you should ask yourself.
Yeah.
They say real power is
having it and slap a hot dog out of somebody's hand, and there was no. Yeah, exactly. It's the shopping cart thing. If you go back, if you put the shopping cart back, that's somebody who goes out of their way to put their shopping cart back at the grocery store after they load up the car. That's a sign of a good person.
Right.
But yeah. So anyway, basically what I'm saying is I'm a piece of shit, and there we go. I used to be a piece of shit.
Ask me anything.
Slop those steaks up, boys.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun. That's what I've been up to for
work
the past couple of days.
Yeah.
So
cool.
That's cool.
What have you been up to?
I finally dived into Live Alive.
Hey. Oh yeah, I did.
The demo, or is it like out?
The demo's out, but it's meaty. Like there's a lot in there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played a bit of it. I played the first bit of the Chinese guy's story.
Is that the
monk on top of the mountain?
Oh, I did not do his.
The old man? Oh, okay, cool. Then I can talk about that. Which one did you do?
I did the Shinobi one.
Okay.
Yeah. It seems like it is I feel like fans of JRPGs are going to like love this game. Especially if you're into like that, Chrono Trigger era type of game. I mean, that's where it kind of comes from. I will say, so I'm not very good at it. I think I'm still just like figuring out like what I should and shouldn't be doing. So they have, I don't know if yours is doing this, but like when you engage in combat with somebody, and you kill them, it says does it say like lives taken, and then it increments the number every single time you kill somebody?
Oh no.
Yeah, the Shinobi one does that, and it makes me feel, I'm like, every time it happens, I'm like, I feel like I shouldn't be doing this. But if I don't do it, I keep finding myself in these situations where I can't take on like the enemies that I'm encountering. So like there was one like you go in through this like, I don't know, Japanese geisha house or whatever. And there's like all these like geishas in there, and you go up and talk to them, and you either have the option to let them go, or you can say like, I know what you are.
Murder them.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh, we would expect nothing less from a shinobi. And then you enter battle with them, and they die in like one hit. So it's like, you can kill them immediately, and you get experience for it, but like, I feel like I'm not supposed to be doing that, because it's like wrong.
Killing Geisha seems like maybe a bad thing to do.
Right. But like, I don't know. I don't like, I haven't beaten his story yet, obviously. Like the whole game's not out yet, but I'm like, how am I then supposed to level up and beat the guys that I'm supposed to beat? Because there's like combat scenarios that I've come into that like a lot of them you can sneak around. Like, I don't know if you can get through the whole thing through sneaking around. But like there are some where you walk into a room and like a cutscene starts and you don't have a choice. Like, you have to battle these guys, and I can't kill them. Like, I have no idea what to do. So it's very weird in that way, where like it's forgiving in that if like in that instance, when you enter combat, if you do lose, and you reload the save, like checkpoints are pretty good. But
I haven't died at all. So.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. Like, I don't know how to get around these guys. I do enjoy, like, have you gotten into combat at all?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I fought loads of things.
Yeah. I do like the way that the combat system works.
It's very interesting. It's not
what I was expecting.
No, me neither. It's like if you combined Final Fantasy with Final Fantasy Tactics, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, because you are running around the overworld, much like you would with like Octopath Traveler or something like that, or Chrono Trigger, where you see somebody and then you'll run up to them and enter combat or whatever. But then it goes on to this like, I don't know, 10 by 10 grid.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
might be
fewer
smaller than that. Yeah.
Blocks than that, but then you select your attacks from like a menu, and I don't know what the Shinobi has, but the Chinese monk has like a bunch of like bizarre like grid formations that go out from him. So he's got like a big X with like a square around it, where like it'll hit most of the things within like 2 or 3 squares of him, but there are like certain gaps in it. And so you have to like line up your movement with where your enemy is and like try to, attack them from the side or something like that. And they have like different effects. Like his attacks have different effects. Where like one will like knock the enemies away from you on the grid, and then they'll have to spend their movement like trying to get back to you. Or it'll, I don't know, I forget like what some of the other ones do, but like it's stuff like that. And I've been going through the Chinese monk. He starts on top of a mountain, and his whole thing is, I don't know what the Shinobi is up to, but the Chinese guy is like nearing the end of his life. He's a true master of his art form, and he's the only one who knows it. And he's trying to find students to pass on what he's learned. to find somebody that's worthy of succeeding him and taking on his martial art to the next level. And so I think his thing is he has to find 7 potential pupils. And so I actually got attacked by a bandit, this girl bandit, who like tries to kill me, and I totally like mop the floor with her. And then he's like, "You're not bad. Like, do you want to turn away from this life of crime and learn my martial art or something like that?" And she's like, "Well, you know, I'm pretty tough, so you know, maybe I'll stick around and see what you're all about." That typical sort of like, you know, she's gonna come around, but like she's starting as like I'm reluctant, but as soon as I learn your arts from you, I'm gonna kill you and take over and whatever.
Right.
But she seems like she's just somebody who's been, you know, on the wrong side of things a couple of times and is just in a bad way and has turned to like stealing because she just has to get by.
Right.
So then I'm going around and like fighting a bunch of tigers and stuff and just like beating the absolute ever-loving shit out of them. And that's kind of it, like just wandering around, picking up stuff and all that sort of stuff. It's interesting. It's weird because I like what it's doing with like setting up a simple story and then kind of paying it off, you know, bit by bit as you go through it. But and then when you get have you played with multiple characters?
No.
Okay. So once I got that bandit as my pupil, I was started able to move both of them around the screen at the same time. And so then it's like you're really thinking about where your attacks are going and how you're going to like set up something with one character and finish it off with the other. So I imagine it's probably going to get pretty intense later on and pretty satisfying. But right now it's one of those situations where it's like, I feel like this and Triangle Strategy are kind of scratching like 2 different versions of that same itch, where it's like, these are both RPGs that are kind of new versions of an old thing. But like one of them is strictly tactical combat and the other one is like kind of tactical combat. And so I kind of need to decide. It feels like to me, there's not room in my life for both of these. So I would need to pick one.
Well,
I don't know if that's actually true, but
I don't know how long Live Alive is or it's going to be.
I guess we can look it up because it's a game that was out,
I mean, yeah, it's old, so
I'll look it up.
That information's got to be out there.
It
looks like the new version
20 hours.
Okay, main plus extra of the new version says 32 hours on how long to beat, but I don't know how somebody said that.
Yeah, the old one has like 18 and a half for the main story. Extras is 24 and a half. Completionist is 27. Which like
Triangle Strategy is 33, 47, and 95 hours.
Considering 95
for Completionist for Triangle Strategy.
Oh,
Jesus.
Okay.
Main plus extra 47, main story 33 and a half.
I was like, guess I'm never playing that. Yeah. Good lord.
No, I think what's cool
it's Persona 5.
Yeah. What's cool about Live Alive though is like because like you're splitting that up between 6 different characters. And they all have
something like that.
Something like that. But they all have their own different stories. So like they may only be like 4 hours a pop. And I don't know how they all are going to end up connecting in the end, obviously, if they even do. But like I just like the idea of even if it's something that you play like a little bit at a time, you know, you could sink 4 to 6 hours into any one of the stories like over the course of a week and then be done with it and then move on to the next one.
7 protagonists. So there's 7 protagonists, and then once you finish all of those, there's like a final one section that you do.
Okay. But yeah, it's just...
Oh, wow, this looks cool. Like the old... Oh, man, this kind of bums me out.
Hold on, the old like art style.
Let me link the art style in here real quick in the chat. In the
yeah, the
like that looks really cool.
That does look cool.
Damn.
Hold on, I'm gonna pull it up.
If you're excited about Live Alive, don't look up the old art because it looks really sick.
Open link, yes. Oh, it's super tiny. Oh, they can't even see it.
No, okay, hold on. Let me get an older one. Did you find another one, or
I did? I got it.
Okay.
Yeah,
that looks really.
That does look really cool. I'd be surprised. Well, I guess I wouldn't. I don't know. I mean, it's a shame that they don't have that in the game as well. Maybe they
where you
will.
could just like flip it like with the
like
classic
like
Halo
Master
game
Chief Collection.
Yeah, where you just push a button
cool.
and then it looks like that. That'd be fucking rad.
Yeah.
I would
But
love
those are really hard to do though.
No, they are.
Yeah.
But honestly, like I'm looking at, they have this screenshot of the Switch one. I'm gonna see if I can find a bigger version of this. Ah, shit, I just lost it. I mean, it looks really cool. Some of the locales, like the Shinobi one, I think looks awesome.
Ilk Girl Chill in the chat says, "Does that say pissed fist?"
Pissed fist. Where are you saying that?
No, it says. Oh wait, hold on.
It does say.
It does say pissed fist.
Oh, the image. That's so funny.
That's an ability name.
That's another potential name for the show.
Pissed fist.
Write that down.
Yep.
I'm gonna smack you with my pissed fist, guys. That's awesome.
Wow. Use that in a bar fight. You'll win for sure.
I'm a drunken master, and my final attack is pissed fist.
Yeah. So I'm showing for people watching the stream, I'm showing like a screenshot of the Switch version, which like I think that looks awesome. Brian,
yeah, it looks cool.
Brian tends to disagree typically with this kind of art style.
I think.
I think the shadows look good. I think the sprite work is good.
Yeah, it's all good. My thing is it's not a destination for me, if that makes sense. Like that's not like a lot of people are like, oh man, the thing is like it's like the fucking new Freebird of the indie games stuff where it's just like, oh, do Final Fantasy VI, but in the Octopath engine.
Oh yeah.
Oh, do Chrono Trigger, but in the Octopath engine. And I'm like, guys, it does not look that good. It looks good, like it's fine. It's a good way to bring things forward and have them look more modern, but like it's not a substitute for like good sprite work.
Right.
I don't know. That's just how I feel about it. Like,
what's the what was it? Children of Mana? Didn't they? Or not Children of Mana, Secret of Mana.
Secret of Mana.
I combined Children of Morta and Secret of Mana in the same title.
I combined Children of Men and Secret of Mana.
Because that was like a remake of an SNES game, but I think that went with more of like a chibi kind of. Yeah, it did, like a chibi kind of art.
Yeah, which I don't mind, and I think that's another valid like approach to this sort of a thing. I don't. It's difficult because like I'm not against it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But it's
you just don't want everything to look the same.
Which I think that is very important.
And also, it would be one thing if it was Cuphead and people were like, we're all gonna do this. I'd be like, fucking go for it, man.
Yeah.
Like go for it. If everything looks like Hollow Knight or everything looks like Shovel Knight or something like that, I'm just like, these look awesome. Like you can do that. But like this is like a very unique and kind of weird style with two parts to a whole that like I don't think entirely mesh together.
Yeah.
But also like people say they want something and then the minute they actually get it, did they really want it? You know, because they don't actually play it or they don't beat it or whatever. Yeah. Like how many of those people are going to be like, yeah, I want you to re-release Final Fantasy VI for the like 50th time, but then they don't actually go play it.
Yeah.
You know? It's like they just want to see it. They just want to see what it's gonna look like.
Well, it's like the that
or it's
Mother
a safety
3,
blanket.
Yeah, it's like that Mother 3 fan video that I'm like obsessed with, where it's like a trailer for Mother 3 in the art style of Link's Awakening, where like the first time I watch it, and I don't know, like anytime I watch it, I think it's like the best thing I've ever seen. But like, would I actually play that game? Probably not, because JRPGs and I'm old.
I haven't even played Earthbound, so I'm definitely not playing Mother 3.
I played a good amount of Earthbound on the SNES Mini, but it was on a unit at like one of my previous employers, and then when I got laid off, like I just lost that save. So it's gonna be many years before But like I actually think the first like 2 hours or hour or so of Earthbound is like the worst part. Like once you actually like you need to look at a guide for that game, but once you like get items and start doing damage and stuff and actually like playing the game, it gets really good. I like the vibe of it. Like the bunch of
Oh, you meant Link's Awakening on Switch.
Yeah. So I'm sharing the
Dang, that looks really good.
It does. And I want to sit here and be like, I would absolutely play. God, it keeps going behind the thing. I keep sitting here going, I would absolutely play this game. But I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would. I want to. Like, I want to think I would, because I love Nintendo games. And like,
is this an actual thing, or is this just a video?
So this is just a video that, like, it's this group of animators that are huge fans of Mother. And I'm sure I'll get some of the details on this wrong, so forgive me. But they have been like beating at the door of Nintendo of like, we want to help, contribute to making this game. So they just like put this out for, I think, the anniversary of Mother 3, in Japan, because obviously it's never gotten a proper release in the US. But
yo, this looks stupid good.
Isn't it
Hire
really
these
cool?
People.
Like
Nintendo, hire these people. What are you doing?
After this happened, or after this came out, there was a big push for, from the fan base, just being like, why doesn't this exist? Like, let these people do this.
This looks better than almost all the games that exist.
Yeah, I mean, I would, even the way that they move, like just the movement of the characters, like it almost seems more, it's like Burton-esque or claymation, than a lot. And I'm sorry for the audio listeners. If you're listening,
it's like if Rankin Bass made a video game.
Yeah. But you want to go on YouTube and look up "Welcome to the World of Mother 3." It's by I forget, but Curiomatic. Curiomatic is who put it together.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
that's
but it's a really, really cool video that they put together for that.
That's really, really cool.
And then the other thing that I wanted to mention, because I don't know if we've actually talked about this, there's a Kickstarter right now for a game that is heavily, heavily inspired by Hollow Knight's art style, but it seems like the combat is a little bit different. It's called Crowsworn. Have you heard about this?
No, but it sounds like a thing from Hollow Knight.
I'm going to pull up a video of this now. So it looks like Hollow Knight, but you have a gun.
All right. You got me.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it does look like Hollow Knight. Holy shit.
So
including all the spikes on the ground.
Right. Yeah, the spikes was the thing where I was like, man, these guys aren't even like hiding it. I don't know if they've put anything else together at this point. I keep clicking away from it. There we go. So yeah, if you're watching the stream, it looks like
it looks like Hollow Knight. It has a little bit of some of the lighting reminds me of God, what is that? What was the name of that game where you reverse time and you're actually the bad guy the whole time? Braid.
Yeah.
Braid. Reminds me a little bit of Braid.
Yeah, the bloom and everything kind of has that.
I was gonna say Axiom Verge. There's a lot of games where you're the bad guy. Infamous.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like
you can be.
You have you have a scythe, but you also have a gun, and then there's a lot of like dashing movements within it. So it seems like a much faster game than Hollow Knight, which is hard to believe.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to hit these people up.
Yeah, but it looks pretty cool. They have a Kickstarter going right now. You can find that just by searching for it.
Kickstarter at your own risk.
Yeah, Crowsworn. I mean, I will say they must be pretty confident in it, and I think the gameplay kind of speaks for itself. But Fangamer is actually doing all of the merch for like the higher tiers of if you're gonna back them. So I mean, it seems like it's a pretty legitimate project. Like I think it'll see the light of day, or at least they're pretty close to it. But yeah, if you're a fan of Hollow Knight, definitely look at it. Mongoose Rodeo is the name of the developer and publisher. I don't know if they've
great name.
Done anything else.
If I could be like a tiny little mouse rodeoing around on a mongoose, hell yeah.
They're actually making a kart racer based in this world.
What, really?
Yep. It's called Crow Kart.
Oh my God. They just skipped right to the cart, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cario Kart.
Mario Kart.
Mario Kart.
It doesn't look very good. I wonder, like, this is kind of a joke, but
I bet it was like a thing they made.
It's
in a
that
weekend,
it's
and
that
they're like,
Bloodborne
"We'll make it
cart thing.
I think that's
Yeah.
what they're going off of.
Because this is clearly like this is inspired equal parts by Hollow Knight and Bloodborne, probably.
Yeah.
Because you got the crow, you got like Eileen's crow mask, you got a giant scythe like Gehrman's scythe, you got all that like Victorian and Georgian inspired like attire and architecture and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Speaking of crows, how good is The Crow?
I've never seen it, so I don't know.
Oh, I love that movie.
I've never actually seen it. Hasn't didn't that guy die?
Yeah,
Yep.
Brandon Lee died.
Yeah.
And
like on set? Wasn't that like the
that
whole thing
is-
of that movie? Yeah.
Yep, that is part.
I mean,
that
other
is-
than it being a really good movie, yes, he died in the making of it.
Oh, geez. Thank you, Harry, in the chat. So they're actually done doing the Kickstarter for it. It's just you can wishlist it on Steam now. Apparently, this was like I don't know if it was last year. At least Harry's saying it was last year for Crowsworn. It's supposed to come out the end of next year.
Cool.
Yeah.
Looks fun.
Yeah, man.
I'll see if I can talk to the people and tell you guys about it.
There you go.
Hit up the people.
That would
There
be
you
a
go,
fun
man.
game. That and Silk Song are going to be fun games to be like, hey, Chris, are we playing this at the same time to talk about it? Because that would be fun, I think.
Oh.
I know you want. I know you
No,
want
no,
to take
no.
like you
I
probably
thought-
like to take your time more and stuff like that.
No, I thought you meant play like both of those games at the same time.
Oh,
And I was
no,
like,
no,
that
no,
means
no,
you would have
no.
to wait. I imagine you would have to wait like to play Silk Song then even longer because
Yeah, no, I was just thinking about like I was super into Hollow Knight.
I mean,
and,
for
like-
the first week, I could keep up with you. Because this is what always happens. Is like I'd be like, I have 6 hours in it, and then you'll be like, I have 42. Like I don't, and I don't know where you find the time.
I mean, I don't have that much time now because I work a lot more now than I
Sure.
did before. So,
Sure,
you know,
but we can do that as a family,
I think that would
as
be
a
really
Game
fun.
Pass family.
As a game
Pass family. Will it
That
be
would
on
be
Game
really fun.
Pass?
Hollow Knight will be,
All right,
although
good.
I'll still
Even
probably
better.
buy it on Switch.
Hollow Knight was. I'll probably
I mean, that's how I played it. So
What on Switch?
if I do
no,
guides
I
and
played
stuff,
it
I'll
on
be doing PC.
Xbox.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I played it on Game Pass.
Void Heart edition of Hollow Knight might still be on Game Pass. I'm not actually sure.
It is because I literally
Yeah,
just played
yeah.
it
Okay.
It's on
on
PlayStation
Game
Plus. too.
Pass.
Yeah.
Oh, it's in their collection or whatever.
Yeah, it's like that game's like wildly accessible now. Like if you even
Yeah.
think about playing it, you probably can.
Yeah, I think I reviewed it for Nintendo on Switch, and then wrote the IGN guide for it on PC.
Mm.
And then they were like, "Hey, it's also on Game Pass," and I'm like, "I'd love to, but no."
Josh,
I've done it.
Already
I've
played
done
this
enough.
game twice.
What's up?
you know what we got to talk about?
What do we have to talk about?
We got to talk about this Munsters trailer.
Oh boy.
Take
Brian,
it away, boys.
have you seen this?
No.
You asking me?
No, I didn't know if
was like-
Brian saw it.
Like I've seen it twice.
You should,
Come on,
Brian. You
save
should
me.
mute your mic,
Okay.
and then you should watch it on your phone, and then just
It
like
is-
join the conversation because I would
It
love to
is-
hear what you have to say about this.
Okay. So you
It-
guys
it is
wait, mute my mic,
truly a
like
thing.
take off my ears and mute and like not listen to what you guys say.
Yeah, because otherwise you're not going to be able to hear the thing.
Okay. All right. I'll be right back.
Okay.
That trailer is something.
So, okay, that was not the reaction I was expecting to get from you, because when I first DM'd you about it, like me and 2 of my coworkers were just like, we were that Lisa Simpson meme where she's just staring at the kitchen table, like just like
Oh yeah, that
we didn't know what to say. Like I was legitimately left speechless after watching it.
I immediately put it in the chat with a lot of my friends, And the only thing I said was, well, that looks fucking weird. And this is coming from someone who's like a fan of the Munsters and like a fan of all that like kooky classic horror stuff. This movie is just like, I mean, I will say that it's very clear that Rob Zombie is a huge fan of the Munsters, because this feels like a fan film.
Yes.
Like, in the best and worst way. In that, like, he just really wanted to make this, and someone gave him the money to make it.
Yeah.
And now we have it. It was announced today that it's going to Netflix.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. Which I wonder if they were already thinking about just putting it on a streaming service, and then just based on the reaction, they were like, ooh. And Netflix was probably like, we'll give you, some amount of money.
Yeah, to get whatever you can back.
I'm sure this, if they play it right, it will become like the next Morbius. Which
I could
Netflix
see
might be banking on, honestly.
I mean, if it's bad enough that people, because it's coming out September? Like, it could be bad enough that
they just said fall.
Oh, okay.
I like watching Brian slowly lose faith in humanity as he's like watching this.
It would make sense for them to put it on streaming in September, and then have like an October Halloween push in theaters, like a limited run kind of thing. Where it's like, you could see it on, Saturday at 10 p.m. or whatever, and just like, people go and they're just like, what is this? What hell am I putting myself through?
Well, that's what's strange about it, because like, even as a fan, like, and I just rewatched the whole show, which is only 2 seasons.
That's it? I did not know that.
Yeah, it aired almost the same week as Addams Family, and both of them ran about the same length.
Okay.
It was about 2 seasons. It is like a kind of a product of its time. Like, it's a 50s. Okay, I need to hear what Brian has to say.
Okay, I just finished watching it.
Yeah. How do you feel now about the future of America?
Do you want to die? Because I did.
I will say that I don't have a ton of experience with the old Munsters. But it seems weird. Like, it doesn't seem great.
No,
I don't know. So to me, like, if I'm being super blunt, this trailer doesn't look good to me. It looks kind of cringe and weird. And also, as little experience as I have with the Munsters, watching that giant towering Frankenstein talk and having it not be like that dude's voice is really weird to me.
Yeah, his voice is not right. Like, he doesn't sound right.
No.
It's yeah.
But there's also, like, it was very interesting to see like the Dracula guy and
Grandpa?
have him not be like that other dude. It's so weird because like the Munsters is like definitely a singular piece of like, not Americana, but kind of, you get what I'm saying? Like, it's
it's that old-timey...
you're going right into what I was gonna say, like right before you pop back on, because I want to hear what you had to say. I was telling Chris that like the show's only 2 seasons, and it aired like almost the exact same week as the Addams Family. Like they ran about the same exact amount of time. They're like very much a product of their time. Now, Addams Family has been kind of updated since then and like works in its like iterations. Like the 90s movies that Tim Burton did are really good.
Yeah.
But they are a little bit of an update on the thing. The Munsters feels like really locked into like the early 60s. Like, when you watch it, it's very much like this is a sitcom about like an American family, but they're like weird. But they don't know they're weird. you know, so that's like what's
and
funny
they're going
about
around
it.
acting like they're normal and everybody else is reacting
Yeah, and
to
everybody
them.
else is like scared of them or whatever, and they never seem to get the joke, right? That they're the weird ones. They're always just like, I wonder what was wrong with him or whatever. The show, having
Which I
just
think
rewatched
it's a
is
fun
still,
joke.
yeah,
Like I think that's a fun.
Yeah.
I just rewatched the show recently, and it's still really funny and good, but it does feel like it is part of its time.
Yeah, you
so
can
like
tell you're watching an old piece of media.
Yeah, like, and it's
which is
just
weird because like some stuff pulls from it now. Like WandaVision pulled from stuff from that era now, but like that's the exception. Like most shows aren't like this.
They pulled from like the I Love Lucy, Leave It to Beaver kind of thing,
Dick Van Dyke Show,
which is really what that show was. It just happened to have monsters in it, you know.
Yeah, it's
It just, I don't know, like it feels like it almost should have been animated, but that's more expensive.
It kind of feels like
I don't know.
A fan video.
It feels like
exactly
a fan film.
What Josh said.
It feels like a fan film, which it kind of is because Rob Zombie's a huge fan. So it's like he just really wanted to make this thing, and like I can appreciate that. I'm looking for me. I feel like when I watch this, I'm gonna feel like the passion and stuff coming through. Like when you watch like an Ed Wood movie, and you're like, wow, this is not good, but like I can sense that the person who made this, there's something here where like the person who made this like truly loves this thing and thinks that the thing they're making is like the coolest fucking thing ever, and why does no one understand my genius, you know? I have this feeling like I'm gonna get that vibe from it, which might make me sort of like appreciate it, but I don't think it's gonna but I don't think it's gonna be good. If I have no bones about it being like good in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
but I'm interested. I was just telling Chris too, I think when you were gone, that Netflix picked it up, so it'll just be on.
Oh, okay. Netflix, so we can just see it. That might be a fun thing to do, like an episode on.
Yeah.
Just to see.
I mean, I could absolutely see it being that thing, like the 2 weekend span of people being like, the people that watched it because it came out and it looked so bad, and then going to work the next day and being like, guys, I watched Munsters and you have to see it because it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's like, gonna be
the good bad, potentially like a good bad movie, maybe a bad
one, but
who knows?
We'll find out.
But
it's truly odd.
No, I mean, I have a feeling it's going to go down as one of those movies that like I would put up there with like Return to Oz, or
really Return to Oz is like super creepy,
or like Fuzz Bucket. I guess Fuzz Bucket's probably a closer one because Return to Oz is like dark.
That's the biggest difference between the Wizard of Oz and the Return to Oz is Wizard of Oz is like it deals with like kind of like not heavy stuff. It's just like, I'm not home, I need to see if I can get home. And then Return to Oz is like, yo, this lady keeps a bunch of severed heads in her house, and there's people with like wheels for feet and hands that roll around and try to murder you, and even your friends are super creepy looking. Like
so much, I guess not so much
Jack the Pumpkinhead and all that sort of stuff,
but more just like it being one of those movies that comes up in like a not even a cult classic conversation, just like, can you believe that they were allowed to make this? Like someone said, I want to make this thing, and then they got the money to do it, and then they did it.
Universal spent $30 to $40 million on this.
Yeah.
And probably didn't get that much money back from Netflix, if I'm being honest.
Probably not.
Because I'm sure that they saw it and were like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah. There's a part of me that like legitimately thought like the trailer is a little insulting to like the original cast of the Munsters, who I think all of them are now dead. But like
we're
close to all of them.
The kid's alive. Why am I forgetting the name of the kid?
Eddie Munster?
Boy, Eddie. I think Eddie Munster's still alive.
Okay.
I mean, he's old.
Well, but I would think that they would look at this and like just think it's absolute garbage. But
who knows?
Who am I to say? Like they may, I don't know.
Well, I'm also part of me is also like, who's this for? Like I'm I would say I'm a fan, and even I'm like, oh boy, like
why?
This why is this happening? Like
Yeah, Butch Patrick is still alive.
Yeah, like you could have left this in the past, like almost.
Wait.
And if you were gonna bring it up, like it could be,
Butch Patrick is in this movie.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Wow. And then Pat Priest is also in it. She was the
he plays the Tin Can Man.
Yeah. She was the niece.
Yeah, she was the blonde. That was like
the second niece.
Yeah.
So the first niece is only in the first like 8 episodes or something.
It's so funny.
They swapped her out.
Like old sitcoms did that.
Yeah. No one noticed.
Yeah.
Really.
You could not get away with
Eddie,
now.
Eddie is a Dampier werewolf. That's interesting.
He's a werewolf, yeah, and then like
but he's also a part vampire.
And then the brother of Lily is the like creature from the Black Lagoon, but he has like a fedora on and he has like a suit. I forget his name, but it's like some water pun. But and then there's another, like, I think like someone's cousin is like a full-on werewolf, like looks like the Wolfman and stuff. Yeah, there's a bunch of jokes about that in there. But yeah, this movie looks very odd, and I don't know how to feel about it.
I can't believe it exists. I really can't.
I will say though, if you're interested, the original show is still pretty funny.
Where did you watch it? Because this whole thing did get me curious.
Yeah, same.
I watch it. It was on. I think it was on.
On what?
On Peacock.
Oh, wow.
So it's part of the free tier. It has ads, but yeah, you can watch the whole thing.
Nice.
I mean, it's very silly. It's very from the 50s, but
yeah,
it's enjoyable.
Interesting.
Yeah, that movie is going to be quite a thing. I like that they turned the comments off on the trailer like 45 minutes after it came out.
Yeah. They're like,
that's
what?
How you know
it's not.
Hey, that's how you know it's good.
Yeah.
That's how you know people really love it.
Yeah. Ilgirl Chill in the chat says, I can see it coming out the week before Halloween and getting it's bad, so let's watch it during the weekend. I can also see that.
That would make the most sense for Netflix to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just give people something fun to watch that's holiday appropriate.
Yeah, it'll help, but it's not going to make them any more money than they already make, right?
It's not going to make the movie any better.
No, and it won't do that either. So it's kind of, they're probably just like, whatever, just we'll buy it because I'm sure people will think like, yeah, it's so terrible. Like, let's watch it. That's kind of why I'm going to watch it at this point. Because I'm like, how many references are like, future references are they going to point to that are trying to make people like me go, oh man,
I still I've been thinking about the text that you sent every day since I read it, that Rob Zombie's #1 song, Dragula,
is a Munsters reference. And it's like about him being in a drag race with a car named Dragula. There's an episode
blew my mind.
There's an episode where they go to like a drag race, and Herman, who's the Frankenstein's monster, the dad, like makes a bet with another dad, like, oh, my car will, our actual car will beat you. And then he loses the race, and so they lose the family car. And so Grandpa's like, I got a drag racer like in the garage, and they fix it up, and it's the Dragula. And then they race the Dragula and win the family car back.
Wow! Spoiler
it's a good
alert.
episode.
Yeah.
Oh, for this like 70-year-old sitcom. Yeah.
What a dick, Josh Mobley. What a dick.
There's no statute of limitations on being an asshole.
That's right.
There's also no statute of limitations on a show that most people, unless you're a weirdo like me, care about, and that's 60 years old. So
yeah,
amazing.
It's not like some high drama. It's a bunch of it's a family of monsters.
They lost the family car, Josh. If that's not drama, if that's not relatable drama, I don't know what it is.
That's right.
They get it back and within 20 minutes. Everything's got to go back to normal within 20 minutes, right?
Yeah.
A sitcom.
Got to restore that status quo.
Mm-hmm.
But is that all you were getting into? Were you playing any games or anything this week, Josh?
I started up Dante's Inferno.
Hell yeah.
So literally right after beating Hollow Knight, I was like, all right, let's do this. This game's not that long.
I need something at the quality level of Hollow Knight or above.
Yes.
Let me boot up Dante's Inferno.
Man, I forgot just like so much about that game. I forgot that you like kill the Grim Reaper in the first 5 minutes. I forgot that just it never lets up. Like, I'm really surprised. I'm like almost 2 hours in, and it's like the minute you start, it's like the foot hits the floor on the gas pedal, and it never stops. You're just like all the time, like more demons, more, and then the backstory stuff's like so fast because it's like you got to get back to killing. We got to kill more demons. You need to rip the head off Charon, who's also a big boat with a human head. And you gotta rip the head off and like toss it into the void of hell. You gotta jump off onto these crumbling mountains. You think I'm making this up, but I'm not.
No, I know.
I don't think you're making this up
until you started saying it.
The thing is,
I've never beaten this game. Is this available on modern platforms? Like, can I get this on
Xbox?
It's on Game Pass. It's on EA because you have EA Play. It's the Xbox 360 versions on Game Pass, and it's only like a 6 hour play about.
So what you're saying is this is going to be a great chaser for after I'm done with Stray.
Yes.
Complete
play a game
opposite.
about a cute cat running away from head crabs.
You're gonna go to hell and you're gonna fight demons and
fight a big titty demon.
There's a thing in Dante's Inferno that like to this day I still think like is possibly one of like the worst things like to exist in a video game.
Is it the pooping demons?
No. It's all of the dead babies that you have to fight.
Oh, yeah. A lot of dead babies with scythe arms.
Yeah, I forget how far into the game it is before you start seeing that.
Well, it's funny because now Dead Space also has like
I was
dead
literally
demon
just
babies,
about to bring up.
It's the same studio, which is also really funny.
Yeah.
I was just about to say, is it worse than Dead Space and Dead Space 2 babies?
No, because the Dead Space babies are like way worse. These ones are just like, what if baby but scythe arms?
Okay.
And they just
go Dead Space ones.
They like
in Dead Space 1 they have like,
and then they have the big tentacles that come out and they shoot at you.
And they shoot stuff at you.
So.
Yeah, and then in Dead Space 2, it's even worse because you're in a mall.
Oh, the toddlers.
Yes.
Yes.
And there's a swarm of toddlers that runs towards you, and you have to like swing your arms and then curb stomp them.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna be real with you. As somebody who is now the father of a toddler who has literally had nightmares about
being
overcome in places
by toddlers.
not being overcome by toddlers. I've had nightmares about being places and not being able to stop her from getting hurt by something and killed.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could actually do that again. Thankfully, I think my save in Dead Space 2 is past that first scene. But if they come back, I don't know. I might just have to nope out of that.
Occasionally, but that's not too bad. Yeah. But oh my God, dude!
Hey, Becky, welcome to the chat.
It's so ridiculous, such a ridiculous video game that like I know it's not that great, but like at the same time I'm playing and I can't stop smiling just because of how stupid it is, like on all levels.
It's the Devil May Cry thing, where it's just like this is fun. But it's also super dumb.
Yeah.
And that somehow makes it better.
That somehow makes it better. Like, yeah. And also the voice acting's really good. I forgot how good the voice acting is, but I had totally forgotten about like everything. I remembered weirdly the line "Sniff again." Because there's a big, I can't remember the name. There's a big demon at like the gates of hell, and he like picks up people and smells them, and he's like, treachery, and like throws them into whatever they're going into, you know, what level of hell they're going into, and there's like, you know, adultery, like greed or whatever. But you go fight him and he like
when you go to fight strange him, on you.
He smells
adultery.
He smells you and he's like, he's like, oh, a traitor and a murderer, and then Dante's like, sniff again, or whatever. And for some reason, I'm like, that line's great. I've never forgotten it. But like, I remember that, and then I remember the big like at the level where there's lust, there's a giant tornado of naked people. I remember that.
I remember that.
And then I remember down in Gluttony, there's like a bunch of fat demons that are like eating nonstop and they're pooping all over the place. There's like a river of poop.
Yeah.
And then I remember you see Satan's penis. So that's about it. Like, I don't remember anything else.
Who was in a pitch meeting and was like, you know what we need? We need Devil Dong. That's what we
Devil
need.
Dong. Well, I mean, it's like, it's a lot of the design, other than, I think Dante looks really stupid, but other than that, like a lot of the design is like taken really from like medieval art. So there's a lot of boobs, a lot of just like really
there were a lot
weird,
a lot of boobs in that art.
Yeah,
which has been something
weird.
that I'm constantly reminded of as we're watching What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh yeah.
And they always have some weird picture. Yeah,
it's so good.
Yeah,
it's so good. The Beast.
Yeah. Whoa.
I love that show so much.
It's so good, dude.
Oh my god.
Are you watching season 4 yet?
I haven't started it yet. We're
caught up.
First two
episodes are out. Yeah.
Every time we have a free second, she's like, "Do you want to watch Yu Yu Hakusho?" It's the only thing I'm allowed to do in my house.
It's funny. I've also been on an anime kick lately, so it's funny you say that. But yeah, that show's great. I thought the first episode of season 4 was like kind of but the second episode got better.
Yeah, the second one was back to it. I'm like, all right.
Yeah. All right, we're good again. We're fine.
Becky said,
"Oh wait, hold on." Yeah,
yeah. Becky says, "What we do in the shadows hype. Nandor is so hot,"
which is so funny because Audrey retweeted something that somebody put out there, and it was like, what is it? Like the best thing a man can do is be insane and love his wife, and it was just a picture of like, oh my God, what's his name? The guy who played Hitman Agent 47 really, really early on, who's in the show with Drew Barrymore where he like kills people so she can eat them. Something diet.
He's in Mandalorian.
Yeah, I just don't remember his name. Super good looking dude. Anyway, it was him. It was Dracula with his wife. It was Santa Clarita Diet. That's right. Smmoke, thank you in the chat. Yeah, Santa Clarita Diet.
Timothy Oliphant.
Timothy Oliphant, yeah. A picture of him axing somebody in some back way. It was a picture of Dracula and his wife Lisa before he like murders all of humanity and all that sort of shit. And then it was a picture of Jackie Daytona, and Audrey was like, "I'm looking at you, Ribnax," and I was like, "Thank you so much." And then later on that night, we were making dinner, and I was like, "Can I just say how honored I am that you would call me your Jackie Daytona?" That makes me very happy.
Regular human bartender.
That's right.
Regular human bartender.
Mm-hmm.
The greatest thing about that, and this is how you know that Jackie Daytona is so good, and how what's his name? Matt Berry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you know that Matt Berry is like an amazing treasure. Is that the episode with Jackie Daytona also has fucking Mark Hamill in it as a vampire.
Yes, it does.
As an awesome vampire, and nobody mentions him. They just talk about Jackie Daytona.
Yeah.
That's how good it is. Mark Hamill is in it as a really gullible ancient vampire, and he's awesome.
And he goes on to teach a volleyball team.
Yes. But Matt Berry is so good as Jackie Daytona that's all the people care about. And
I wouldn't be surprised if they try to do that again, because that is probably the best episode of the show.
Yeah.
It's
and Mark Hamill would totally go back and do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
And that character was great because he shows up and you're like, oh shit, like everybody is fucked.
Yeah.
And then almost.
Yeah.
So good. So freaking good. God. What We Do in the Shadows, movie or show. If you have not seen it, get off your butt right now and go watch it. So good.
So good.
Right.
Under no circumstances did I think the show was going to be anywhere near as good as it was. It's like the movie is almost untouchable. Like it's up there with like Shaun of the Dead and stuff like that for me, of like the best comedy movies and stuff like that. But the show, I was like, yeah, I'll watch it, like that sort of stuff. And then there are some times when the show is like even like at that level, or maybe even a little bit better. Like it's nuts. It's really, really impressive. I've never seen something adapted from a movie into a show so successfully as this, I don't think.
Well, it's because they didn't try to do the movie again.
Yeah. They're doing
the core concept and do something else.
Yeah. Totally different characters, like all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
This is totally off topic. I completely forgot that Amazon Prime was making a Fallout series.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I forgot about that too.
Yeah.
Started filming.
Yeah, it started filming. There's pictures of the sets. It looks really cool.
All I can think about now is that Netflix is, speaking of that anime that you've been watching, making a freaking Yu Yu Hakusho live action for Netflix too, which is, hey, guess what? This One Piece, Death Note, stop doing this.
They're doing Death Note again.
They're doing Death Note again, and it's Duffer Brothers, isn't it?
Yeah.
Insane.
Which I don't know why.
I don't know why.
But like oh yeah, Cowboy Bebop. Yeah, Cowboy Bebop as well. Cowboy Bebop, I think, was the best of those.
I haven't watched it.
I didn't hear great things, and I had no interest because I'm like, we capped that whole thing off. We don't need any more.
Yeah.
Leave it.
So we were in kind of an interesting scenario because I'd seen all of the original Cowboy Bebop, but Audrey hadn't seen any of it, but she thought the live action one looked cool. So we watched the first episode of the live action one, and then we immediately went and watched the animated one. And she liked both of them. But I thought that I definitely prefer the original, just because like it's one thing when it's like with what we do in the shadows, it's like we're taking a movie and we're making a show about it. We're doing something that we don't already have.
Right.
I like it when it's that, or like when it's like we're taking a book and we're turning that into a movie, or we're turning I even understand if you're turning a game into a movie, because it's like this could be a fun thing that other people could experience, or you could experience something you love in a new way or something like that. Like I get that. But when you're going from Cowboy Bebop, a show, and you're making just another show, you're definitely going to get the one-to-one comparisons. And there's nothing wrong or lacking with the original show.
It also
it's animated, it's still accessible. The voice acting is exceptional, even in English. Like
it's not even like all of that aside, and I don't disagree with you at all with any of what you said. But like I feel like I watch anime for a reason, and it's because like there are things that I can only see in anime that don't exist in the real world, and I don't want to see what they look like in the real world. Like I want to see the cool animation, and
it's like when you make. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's like when you make The Simpsons like live action. It looks weird.
Yeah.
Or like when you take them out of that 2D art style, it's very strange to look at.
Yeah.
It's like imagine Fooly Cooley live action. Like no. You can't
do it. Yeah.
Now there are some where I'm like, okay, you might be able to do that. Like for example, if you had the people that did the Scott Pilgrim movie and you told me they're making a Kill la Kill show, I'd be like, okay, like I'm open to it. Do you see what I'm?
I don't think you could get away with the gratuity of Kill la Kill in live action. I think people would
not riot.
Sure, but I'm saying like the action and the way that it's presented, like I feel like there is maybe a way to do it. Like I can see in my mind like there might be a way to do it and make it work. Now with the whole nudist beach thing, I don't think so.
But I get what you're saying. Like, there's a stylistic choice. There are stylistic choices that need to be made when it's like, okay, this is the anime, this is like the style that it has, and then this is the director and the cinematographer that we've picked like for this thing. Like the conversation isn't getting that deep. I feel like it's just like Netflix has director X and person Y, and they're making this
director X. I loved his early work.
Yeah.
It's so sinister. But yeah, like and granted, Scott Pilgrim was moving from a comic to the big screen, but Scott Pilgrim was also inspired by like a lot of anime. And I feel like if you're going to do it, I feel like you need to look to Scott Pilgrim for inspiration, because I feel like that's the only time that you get something that looks like live action anime that actually works.
Yeah. I mean, it also depends on like what you're adapting, because like something like A Silent Voice, which is a comic, gets adapted into an animated movie and it's able to do all of the same like storytelling stuff. But in live action, it might be kind of even that, which is like a toned down, very like straight up slice of life thing. There might be some weirdness in live action, or it might not feel right. Like I'm sometimes of the belief that you should just keep things in the medium they were created for. Like sometimes you don't need to like expand stuff out to things that they don't necessarily belong to. Like these mediums are not greater or less than the other ones, right? Like novels are not better or worse than movies. They're just different. Right. And they have their own strengths and weaknesses, and the stories that were created for those mediums played inside of those strengths and weaknesses already. So now you're just like taking something and moving it over and not really thinking about like how does it actually like function here. So I don't know. I'm not usually for that. I'm kind of like, oh, just keep it the way it is. It was an anime. Keep it that way. You know?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't need to be this live action thing that honestly, like I can't think of a single one that people have really liked, like a live action
like
conversion
universally.
of an anime.
I feel like I feel like from time to time I will think about this as like a game-centric problem, because so much of this is things going the other way, where we're going from a game and we're adapting that into a movie. We're adapting that into a television show. And there is an element of games that, unlike movies, like I think that the difference between movies and television is a quantitative difference. Like if you're watching a lengthy show, you get more time with the characters. You can be more attached to them. So at the end of like a show that you've watched for 40 hours or 50 hours or whatever, or even 10 hours, like you are able to have more sympathy and a deeper connection with these characters because you've just spent more time with them. You've learned more about what they're like. You've had time to grow close to them, as opposed to like a movie. But with games, there's also the interactivity. Like I don't really like horror movies, but I can play horror games because that's like a different, there's like something for me to grab a hold of, even though I don't necessarily like being scared. It's not all scares. There's something for me to like pull me forward. And I feel like this like adaptation thing that we've been dealing with in the games industry is something that I've primarily thought of as a games problem, because games is so young that everybody in the industry is like, not everyone, but you know, you got your Joseph Ferris out here saying fuck the Oscars, but some people out here in the games industry are thinking of, oh, we need to legitimize our medium, even though our medium is bigger than all those other mediums. Like we don't need to do that, but there is that like need to kind of prove ourselves. And so I kind of thought about that as a gaming centric issue, but looking at this, adapting a TV show into an anime into another TV show, this is not just a young media problem. You know, this is cartoons have been around forever, and movies and live action stuff have been around forever, and there's still this like, oh, we can do like, oh, we need to have a different one of these, and like we really don't. And I don't know. I wonder if we're ever going to get to the point, and I know that part of it is probably like licensors are like, we can make more cash on this by adapting it into something that's new that we then put out now. And it's like the whole SEO thing. And
they try to like hit a different audience too.
Yeah. And there are people who don't watch anime. Like, but
well, it's that, and it's also like, you know, how many kids are around that were not around in 1992 when Yu Yu Hakusho came out. You know, that now it's an excuse for them to go, oh, I hear they're making a thing. I should watch that.
Even us as American kids were watching it years, like almost a decade after it aired.
Yeah.
I was watching it when I was like 12, and that was 10 years after it aired.
How old was Dragon Ball by the time we were watching it? Like for real?
Pretty old.
Yeah, it was pretty old.
But I think the biggest miss for me is when like, and it's no offense to Rob Zombie or something like that, but it's like when you watch something like that trailer where it's bringing something that already exists forward and it just looks bad. It's like, if the source material is good, like
why even bother?
You need to understand it's not enough to just have a new thing of this license. It has to be good. Like the competition out there, there are more podcasts now than there ever have been. There are more television shows now than there ever have been, and games and every type of everything. So if you want to stand out, you have to make something good. It can't just be, oh, this is the new thing. People will watch an episode and be like, this sucks, and leave. Like, and I don't understand, particularly when it's just a modernization of a thing that already exists. Like, even if it's superfluous, make Death Note again, but make it a beat for beat live action adaptation. Like, do it what The Matrix did, where it took the comic and it took like frames and treated that as like that sort of thing. Like, even like then it's like you at least have a better chance of making something good, as opposed to the Death Note movie, which was horseshit. Like, it was so bad. The main character, Light, wasn't even him. He was just some whiny kid. He wasn't an evil dude who was murdering people because he thought he was better than everyone. I don't know.
Wow. That was like a solid 10 minute.
Was it really?
It really was.
I don't know if it was that
hopefully there
long,
was something.
but...
Hopefully there was something of value in there.
No. I mean, I agree with everything you said. I really do. I'm not gonna. Go ahead, Josh.
I did want to ask you, Chris, if you are enjoying Yu Yu Hakusho, because I literally haven't watched it since I was a child.
I am loving Yu Yu Hakusho.
I've never seen it.
I think it is like, as far as the conversations of it being like some of the best anime ever made, or like some of the best anime up there. Like, I understand why it's in those conversations. Is
this the one where like one of the main characters is like trying to kill ghosts with his finger gun?
Yes.
Or whatever?
Yeah. Okay. He dies in the first episode.
Yeah.
Oh wow. I've never seen there's a couple of these that I've like never seen. I've never seen Hunter x Hunter. I've never seen
People say that's very good as well.
I've heard it's good, but I'm not into the shonen stuff.
Yeah.
I've seen a bit of Naruto. I think I watched it up till when he got the Rasengan to like pop up.
You don't need to. That's a whole thing.
Yeah.
And then I haven't seen that. And I haven't seen One Piece, which I know if Mitch is in the chat,
that's a whole other thing.
He's rolling in his grave and he's not even dead.
If you didn't get into One Piece like over a decade ago, like, you're screwed. Like,
well,
forget it.
No, you're not screwed if you're like a high schooler and you're just getting into One Piece, because you have time. Like,
well, yeah.
If I want to get into One Piece, it's going to be the only thing I watch for the next 5 years.
I don't think I'd watch it, but I might read it, because let me tell you, when I get these,
I don't know what he's reaching for. Oh, he's reaching for manga.
When I pick up these trades, like, this is an entire like trade that you would get that is like a bunch of different things, and I can read this entire thing in like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and this is many issues.
Yeah.
So I would probably, this is something that's really changed. Like, I'm probably more likely to actually read, I guess it's 4 chapters. Yeah, four chapters, which comes out. This is 4 months worth of Dragon Ball Super manga that I can read in.
It depends. Are you a weekly are you a weekly shonen series, or are you a monthly, right? Because if you're a weekly, those trades are coming out way faster, because that's literally like, those are like a month of.
That's true. That's true.
But well, I'm what are you
for
watching?
Dragon Ball Super is monthly, so
Yu Yu Hakusho is on Hulu right now. If you have Game Pass, the first season is actually free. They're giving it away. That's what prompted us to even start watching it. I think the first like 4 or 5 episodes they're not bad, but it's just like, it's setting up what the entire show is about. So I'll say that the first 5 episodes are very different from At least one I've seen up to. I think we're on like episode 30 or something like that. We're in like a tournament arc at this point. The dark tournament for any of those who have seen the show. But I'm absolutely loving it. The idea of them making this live action, like watching it now and then seeing what like the actors look like, and it's not, I'm not shitting on the actors, like it's not their fault, but like I just don't think it looks good at all. Like Kurama looks like not Kurama. I mean, I want it to be good. I want everything to be good. I have no hope for it though. If you have any interest in it at all, you should watch it on Hulu for sure.
No offense to the actors, but you were born looking nothing like these cartoon characters.
It's you were born looking like a human being. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
How could you?
Yeah, terrible.
I feel you.
How dare you?
I'm glad you've been doing that because I haven't seen it in a really long time. I've kind of been like in a weird mood to like, I've been going back and watching stuff that I haven't watched in a really long time.
Yeah. And then the other one I would recommend, because Jess had it on, I had a migraine Friday, came down, she was like half hour into it. Bubble on Netflix is one of the most,
messaging me.
Yeah, one of the most beautiful anime movies I've ever seen.
I had heard nothing but like it's really pretty, but it's not that great.
The plot is not very good, but like they have these music sequences in it, where I'll say they do a lot of parkour, like in the world that they're in. So it's like imagine lo-fi beats with characters doing parkour in a world that looks like The Last of Us, but it's like that overgrown kind of look to it. That's a lot of like what you are at least like looking at during it. So like those moments are really cool. The plot is weird.
Well, if you want a good anime movie about music that's really good, you should watch Belle.
Okay.
Because I liked it a lot. It's like Cyberpunk Beauty and the Beast, but at the same time that feels like reductive because it's about more than that. Like it's about like social media and like human connection and stuff like that. But it's very good and it has a banging soundtrack.
Where did you watch that?
You have to rent it or whatever. If you want to watch it in Japanese, I don't know where you watch that because we rented it on Vudu because it was like the one place I could find it, and it's in English, which the dub is very good, and they actually managed to avoid that thing that I hate when in anime when they have a song and they just like blunt force like translate it and it does not work.
Yes.
Right? They avoided that somehow. They like actually kind of rewrote the songs a little bit to like still have the same like they're not like perfect, like you can tell they're like not quite written in English first, but they're not so like blatant, like they actually flow and sound really good. So and the voice acting in the English dub's really good too. So I if you want to watch
like
it
there's no lines like I'll be waiting for you past tomorrow's sky, waiting for you effortlessly, blinking hotly.
Honestly, the intro to Yu Yu Hakusho is like that. Like it, the lyrics make no sense, but man, that song rips. That theme song is so good. If you've never listened to it, just go on YouTube and just.
It makes no sense because like the grammar of, and also just the words mean sometimes different things, and like when people just bluntly translate them, you're kind of like, the fuck does that mean? But like there's a bunch of context to it, so like it's not easy to take things from one to the other. So
Smmoke just dropped X in the chat. It's one season. It's an anime drama fantasy.
I thought he was talking about the movie, which is fantastic also.
Or like the drug, like he just dropped X. Oh my God,
dropped ecstasy in the chat.
Is he gonna be okay?
I will say also, I randomly, because Xbox was having that big anime sale, I haven't watched the show Witch Hunter Robin since I was maybe 13, 14 years old. Didn't remember almost anything about it. Started rewatching it thinking like, I bet this doesn't hold up. Pretty damn good actually.
Nice.
It's pretty damn good. I'm happy I went back. I'm almost done.
Yeah,
trying to look at this X
I
thing.
need to like. There's a bunch of like stuff from back then, not just like Hunter x Hunter and Yu Yu Hakusho, but like I remember that like I almost watched like Vampire Hunter D and then just never got around to it. Stuff like that.
Which one? The original one?
I don't know. I think somebody had the OVA or something, and I was gonna watch it.
Yeah. I've heard that.
But I watched Hellsing. That shit rips. I love that show.
I've seen some of Hellsing. I thought it was cool. I've heard Vampire Hunter D is like not a good movie, but it's like cool to watch. But I think there's a newer one that's like,
so it's kind of like Ninja Scroll or whatever.
Yeah, it's
like it's kind of a
Ninja
spectacle,
Scroll,
but it's like
you're
not
watching
great.
it for the blood. Yeah.
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 Yeah, man. Let me tell you. Yeah, Hellsing is one of those things where it's like it is hard finding all of it because like I'll be honest, I've looked around exhaustively and read manga and watched like OVAs and then watched the anime, and I still don't think I've seen the end. Like I think I've almost seen the end, but like there's one thing that happens near the end where it's like a really dangerous enemy they kind of get rid of, but then it's like, oh, actually you didn't. And then it's like, it feels like it's like climactic, but then I'm like, I don't remember actually seeing any of this like coming to a good resolution, but there's so much badass stuff that happens in that series. It's so cool.
Apparently it's only 13 episodes.
The anime?
Yeah.
It might not be done. Because there was a lot of stuff where I had to actually fish around and see if I could find more, and I had to download some OVAs from the dark web, or something like that. I had to sell some plasma in a back alley to get access to some of these things. But yeah, it's really, really cool, and I actually think that. Like the beginning of it is like fairly interesting, but I think as it goes on, it gets way more interesting. Another thing that I never read the end of is D Gray Man. That shit like was exactly my steez.
I read like one issue of that back in the day, and I was like, no thanks, I'm good. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, it had a really interesting like kind of premise, but. Chris, you got something else that you're trying to say? Are you looking up some stuff?
Hellsing, I was just going to say, Hellsing looks very cool. It's on Funimation and Hulu, since we're just like slanging anime around at this point. The only thing I want to apologize to the listeners of the show because I said I was going to do something this week and I didn't get to. I said I was going to play Captain America Super Soldier on the PS3.
And you didn't.
I didn't, but it did show up. And if you haven't seen this on my Twitter yet, I have the picture up now. This is what it came in. For those who are listening to the show, they got a old DVD case, and then they printed out 2 pictures of Captain America, taped it to it, and then they just printed a little label that says Captain America Super Soldier PS3. Like they tried to. I was actually no, it's
so
wrapping
bad.
paper. You can tell because it's got the back of it has the dots. I didn't even realize that till just now. But yeah, they put wrapping paper. Dude,
that's like almost more perfect.
Dude, I was crying. I was laughing so hard when I opened up the box. Like I wasn't even expecting it to come into a case at all. But like for that to be what it was,
that
funny.
Is amazing.
I love that for you.
Like it sums up everything that I'm doing.
I would just never take it out of something like that. I'd be like, no, I have to keep it in this.
Yes, this is. And then people come over and they're like, "What?
Why is it like this?"
They're like, let me regale you a tale and pull out like a lute.
You're like,
or a lyre and anything.
Let me show you. Anytime somebody comes over, you'd be like, you want to see the darkest and yet somehow most beautifully hopeful little piece of humanity. I've got this over here, and then you just pull it out and you're like, there's an element of this that is so I can't give a fuck, but also pure. I tried and failed. Like I really tried and I whiffed. It's that thing that we were talking about earlier where Josh was talking about
Sincerity.
like an Ed Wood.
Yeah.
thing.
It's the sincerity of it.
Somebody tried. They tried so hard, and they got wrapping paper of Captain America.
Yep.
And then they printed a little thing on their little rotating like print thing that they then, their label maker, and then just pasted it across.
They're like, it's
They're
perfect.
Like, this is what I have.
I did what I could. I did what I could.
This is what you get.
This is the tale of a person who lived a tragic life, but tries to kick the can further down the road and says, you know what, future generations, it's in your hands now. Do what I could not. Fulfill the mission that I failed.
Oh.
My God, my cheeks hurt from smiling.
I know. I can't, I can't wait to play it because I hope like it sums
I hope
up.
it lives up to everything.
I hope it lives up to everything that has been building.
Yeah.
Like throughout me just getting it. End the case.
Oh boy.
Yep. I think it's about that time, fellas.
Yeah.
It is. Oh man, what an episode. Goodness gracious. Well, I hope that you all enjoyed it, listeners and viewers. Thank you for joining us, as always, for episode 239 of The Platformers. If you want to check out the stuff that we are working on, or you want to talk to us, you can watch us record this episode live on Twitch every Monday at 7 p.m. Central Time. At twitch.tv/platformerspod. You can check the archives at youtube.com/platformerspod if you want to see an older episode and it's not up on Twitch anymore because they get rid of those videos every month or so. Something
like that. Yeah.
If you want to check us out on podcast platforms of your choice, if you want to just listen to it while you're puttering around the house doing chores and stuff, which is what I do when I'm listening to stuff. You can check us out on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, all sorts of stuff like that. We're all over the place. And you can find all of us on Twitter at PlatformersPod. Individually, we've all got our own Twitter handles. Mine is Ribnax, RIBNAX. You can also find me at twitch.tv/Ribnax, where I have been playing through my 100% playthrough of Elden Ring, where I try to get every side quest completed and obtain every item in the game. It's really difficult, and I'm over half of the way done, but I haven't been doing it lately because I've been so busy. I'm also probably going to be streaming some stuff coming up. I know that people liked our Multiverses stream where I teamed up with former guest host Will Berger, and we went online and just beat the ever-loving crap out of a bunch of people in Multiverses. The
beta's coming soon.
It is, and I got my invitation. So,
for that.
Well, it's an open beta.
I'm getting early access.
Yeah, there's an early access for it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which I think is
probably just playing the open one.
I think it's today or tomorrow or something like that. But anyway, I'm on the lookout for that. So I may do streams if people want to see more Multiverses streams like we did last time. Hit me up on Twitter and say that you want to see that. I'm happy to oblige people who want to see certain stuff. Otherwise, I'm still playing Stray. So tomorrow, my Stray guides, I've been working with Billy Givens over at GameSpot. We're going to be publishing guides for this game, collectibles guides, how to open safe in certain areas, how to find all this extra stuff. So if you want to do that, check that out over at GameSpot. That's where that's going to be. I've got a feature that's going live soon called the top 10 best characters in Dragon Ball Z, I think. I captured the video for this and annotated the script, which means that when you see all the cool stuff on the video version of this, I did all that. So definitely go check that out. And I just today published my DNF Duel tier list on GameSpot. So go check that out. This is the first time I've talked a lot about tier lists with friends. I've made mine on Tier Maker. It's always fun to do as just kind of a creative exercise. But this is the first time that I've actually published a tier list. And it's for DNF Duel, which is the game that I reviewed last week with on this show with the IGN reviewer, Ronnie Barrier, who's a Very cool dude. So go over to GameSpot and check out my DNF Duel tier list. There's 2 to 5 paragraphs on why each character is really good. Will actually read it and said that he actually learned a lot of stuff that he didn't know about the game, which is cool. So if you're into DNF Duel or you want to check it out, check out my tier list there. And that's where you can find all my stuff. So yeah.
You can find me on Twitter at the Jawa Josh. I don't tweet that much, but if you want to see all the cool video essay stuff I'm working on, you can go to youtube.com/mediaismythic. My video Batman and Guns: A History is up. Please go watch it. And my next video called Little Witch Academia, Alan Moore, and the Art or the Magic of Art will be out pretty soon. Which is
Little Witch Academia is great.
That's actually like the next anime on my list that I want to watch.
Dude,
it's really good, dude.
Yeah,
it is so cheerful and heartwarming.
It's Trigger, right?
You'd never think Little Witch Academia and crotchety old Alan Moore would go together, but boy howdy, I found a way.
Life finds a way.
So look.
When you said Alan Moore, I was like, what?
Yeah,
I can't wait to see
Alan Moore. Yeah, it's pretty funny. I hope people enjoy it.
Your stuff is good. So I think people will enjoy it.
Yes. You can find me at Shrives93. You can also find me on the Toadstool Board Room, a weekly Nintendo podcast. New episodes come out every Thursday around 3. I have no idea what we're talking about this week. Probably Live Alive. Probably a lot of the conversation that happened today. At some point, I have to try Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak because if I don't, Logan Plant will lob my nuts off. Yeah, it's kind of how I feel about a game I don't want to play.
Maybe you'll have fun. Maybe you'll be like, I never knew I was a Monster Hunter fan.
I feel like I'm not. Like I feel like
I don't think you are,
yeah,
but I would actually be shocked.
I feel like I already know that I'm not, but I'm gonna do it for him. I'm gonna try the demo.
You know what? I'll be real with you. I feel like you're not a Monster Hunter guy, but I wouldn't have pegged you for a Hollow Knight guy either. So
I don't know. No. Having played Hollow Knight, I think I would have pegged him as
one. I mean, like Guacamelee is like one of my favorite games ever, and so is Metroid. And
Hollow Knight, at the end of the day, is just a really hard Metroid game.
Yeah,
but sorry, that's not a dig at you, Chris.
No, but no. I am notorious for playing baby games and bad baby games. I'm aware. I'm well aware of my place on this show.
Which actually, I guess, isn't super fair because, like, you platinum Naughty Dog games and crushing difficulty on like whatever it is
Grounded
and Grounded in Last of Us. That shit's hard. So, maybe I need to update my view of my beautiful friends.
It's really just like Souls games. Like I just don't want. I don't want to play them. I don't think they're fun.
I would love to be wrong, but I don't think you'll. I just don't think you'll gel with Monster Hunter just because of what it is.
I've watched people play it, and I've like felt my eyes almost fall out of my head, like just rolling, just like, oh my god, like I just don't care.
Yeah,
but we'll see. I'm gonna for Mr. Plant, I'm gonna give it a go. I don't think I'm gonna like it though.
There's a demo, so at least you won't be out any money.
Right, like I don't have to. There's no investment other than my time, right? Like, so that's.
I'm pretty sure.
Other than your limited time that you exist on this earth,
right? My precious time.
That unlike money, you can't recoup.
Right.
But also, I'm pretty sure like Monster Hunter World is still on Game Pass, so.
Yeah.
If you ever wanted to try a full-on version of the game like that.
But if I don't like this one, why would I?
They're different in a lot of ways. I mean, the core concept is the same, but
I've heard that Rise is the best one because of the wire bugs. That it's like it's got the most.
It's basically like I keep wanting to say slingshot, and it's not that. Hook shot.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. It didn't make a lot of sense to me when I played the original demo on Switch, but I also didn't care. So.
Yeah.
Who knows? I'll be honest with you. I am way more likely to play Dante's Inferno than I am Monster Hunter at this point.
I'll tell you, I installed Dante's Inferno after last week's episode.
Yeah, you did.
And I can't wait to play it. Like I've been thinking about it playing that more than playing Captain America.
More than playing Captain America, pathetic soldier. All right, guys. Let's get out of here. If you like the podcast, please give us a review because that helps more people find the show. And we don't advertise, and we're a small show, so please help us out. We really appreciate it. And you can also share it with friends. Tell people about it. If you have fun, be like, hey, watch this show on Twitch with me. It's fun. They talk back to us in the chat. Get in here. Anyways, that's just my hey, get in here. But anyways, from everybody here at the Platformers, we hope you have a wonderful week and stay safe out there because until next time, we